Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to talk about some amazing Nintendo Switch 2 games. Now, these games have not been officially announced yet, but if I had to guess, some of these announcements are only just months away. So I thought it would be fun to break down what these games are going to play like, be like, and just their potential. So let's go ahead and get right into this video. Yeah. Kind of crazy to think about, but we are nearing the end of 2025. The Switch 2 obviously came out in June. I feel like months have flown by since then, maybe because I've been playing the hell out of this. I would love to see my total playtime, but I'm loving the console, right? But even though we've had some pretty cool releases, and then we have Metroid Prime 4 coming out next week, we haven't seen much. Like, we've seen some amazing stuff, but nowhere near the full potential of this console. So we're going to talk about the next Mario and Zelda and Animal Crossing and all the potential these games have. So before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, that would truly mean the world to me. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter so we can keep these amazing communities growing. And let's start talking about that next Mario game. So sometimes when you're talking about a popular franchise or maybe your favorite franchise, you're like, yeah, this is great, but when am I going to get that next game? With Mario, there's never really a lack of Mario games, and for the Switch's generation, if I had to guess, there was like 20 Mario related games released, whether that be Mario itself, or Luigi's Mansion, or Princess Peach, or something Toad, or I feel like I'm missing some other stuff, some WarioWare, Mario Party, Mario Kart. There's always something Mario related right around the corner. But there is something we're all waiting for, and that is that next 3D Mario game. Mario Odyssey came out in 2017, and while that is almost 10 years old, if you were to play it right now, especially on your Nintendo Switch 2, it would feel like a game that came out today. It truly is objectively one of the greatest games I have ever played. It's not my favorite Mario game of all time, and not even my favorite Mario game on the Switch, but it is without a doubt the best Mario game from the Switch's generation, and just the best Mario game that ever came out. So what do they do going forward? We just had Mario's 40th anniversary, and you would think during that presentation we would get a glimpse at the next 3D Mario game. And while they didn't show us off directly, they did show us quite a few hints, and if I had to guess, I know it sounds crazy and it's probably not going to happen, but I truly think there's going to be something Mario Galaxy related again. It sounds strange, but Super Mario Galaxy 3, I do feel like it would be just a great game to revisit, a great universe to revisit, especially with the Switch 2. Could you imagine how beautiful a new 3D Mario game would look, and all these beautiful space levels and galaxies and cosmos, and just with the mouse controls, like so many weird and wacky things they could do, especially with us getting the movie and then Galaxy 1 and 2. I just think it makes the most sense, and I would be okay with that. Now, they could do a million other 3D Mario things as well, but for some reason, I just have this overwhelming feeling it is going to be something Mario Galaxy related, maybe something called Super Mario Universe. That would be kind of cool, right? But that's just Super Mario. Whatever they do is going to make sense. What makes sense for that next big Zelda game? Now, this is strange to say, but obviously we have the Zelda movie, live action movie, coming in 2027. We got Breath of the Wild. We got Tears of the Kingdom. We got Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom again on the Switch 2. We got Hyrule Warriors. All of these games are in the same universe. So if we're following the Mario pattern, it's like Galaxy 1, Galaxy 2, Galaxy Movie. Are we going to get Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom universe and then a movie set in that same universe? We did see some official images from Nintendo as well as some leaked video. It kind of seems like it might be in the Breath of the Wild universe, but at the same time, it could be an entirely new story, and I kind of hope that's the route they take. Please do not go back to that same universe. I guess, if they want to keep the games grand and getting bigger and larger, do they build an entirely new universe or a brand new Hyrule? It almost makes no sense to do that. It's like, yeah, we spent almost a decade honing in this Hyrule and this lore and all this stuff. Let's just scrap it and build something new. I mean, saying it like that does not make sense. But I guess it's more of I want opposed to what makes more sense for them to do. I've said in multiple videos I like the more linear Zelda games. Skyward Sword, Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, or my favorite is Wind Waker. But Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are some of my favorite games of all time. But there was a game that I played, way too late, and I know that. Played right before the Switch 2 came out, enjoyed it. It's now one of my favorite experiences of all time, and it did change my opinion about another open world, crazy, do anything, go anywhere Zelda game, and that was Skyrim. I know, the game came out in 2011. I didn't play it until 2025. But playing Skyrim and then trying to find similarities between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom and just Zelda in general, I was like, whoa, I could see a vision where we get a Zelda game like this. I haven't played Elden Ring, but I've heard people make the same comparisons. They're like, wow, could you imagine a Zelda game that's just grand like this and maybe a little bit more difficult, and I don't want to say more realistic, but it's not so bubbly, if you will. And I'm like, I haven't played that, but the way you're describing it, I think we're onto something here. And I think in an interview, Aonuma said that he heard people tell him, or he heard somewhere, that people prefer the more linear Zelda games, but he just doesn't understand why, and he doesn't want to go backwards. So he might want to continue the big open world stuff. I could be paraphrasing or remembering this wrong. And at first I was like, man, that's cool, but that's not the essence of Zelda. I want dungeons, I want puzzles, I want this linear story that's easier to follow and you can get immersed into it. But then playing Skyrim, my opinion changed completely. Now, a game that I think needs to switch up everything, and I truly mean this, is Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing, again, I love it. I've been playing it since the GameCube. I played New Horizons probably 20 hours, and then I got burnt out pretty quick. This was during the pandemic, so it's all I was playing for a little bit. And that was before all the updates and the DLC and all that good stuff. But no matter how much they would add to Animal Crossing New Horizons, it's still just regular Animal Crossing. So for Animal Crossing on the Switch 2, I think they need to switch it up entirely revamped. I think we need a new setting, like this charming little cozy by the water little forest vibe. Cool, I think that should be an option, but I think we should also have other options. Maybe something inside of a city, maybe some deserts, maybe something by the ocean, maybe some snowy mountains, and you can travel between all these places. I do remember reading a leak from a pretty credible source, I want to say about a year ago, and they were saying that there's going to be vehicles in Animal Crossing because it's going to be so large, like cars and planes and stuff like that. And I thought, yeah, I think that's the right approach, and I think that's why we're getting that Switch 2 edition the beginning of 2026, so they can cook a little bit more on Animal Crossing, and I'm 100% fine with that. But I do think it's a Nintendo franchise that needs like a reinvention the most. No matter what, it's going to sell, and it's going to be fun, and it's going to be charming, and it's going to be Animal Crossing. But with the success of the Switch, it seems like, and I would hope, Nintendo would really take some risk with this Switch 2 generation, and Animal Crossing is something I would love for them to just get wacky and weird with. Now, I do have a few theories. One, I think there's this kind of small theme right now about companionship, and what I mean is we have Donkey Kong and Pauline, we have Metroid Prime 4 where there's this little sidekick, obviously Kirby and Hyrule Warriors and Mario Kart World all have multiple characters and it's kind of this group thing going on. So in a new Zelda, I could see us having a companion again, like Navi or Fi, I think that's the name of him. And then in the new Mario, I could see multiple playable characters like Mario and Yoshi, Mario and Luigi. If it's Galaxy 3, maybe Rosalina's playable. And then Animal Crossing, obviously there's a million people in the town, and then you can play online with other people, all that good stuff. And then another theory I have is some of these games will probably have like an extra little thing to play. For example, Donkey Kong had that little art section, Mario Kart had free roam. I'm not sure about Metroid Prime 4, I don't know if they've said anything yet, but I could see some kind of online multiplayer mode or some kind of racing mode with that little motorcycle or something. So I think a new Zelda might have like Link's crossbow training as a little add-on or some kind of something like that. A new 3D Mario game could have whatever the hell, and Animal Crossing, again, just something a little extra. Now, speaking of new games, whenever there is a new generation, one thing you always hope to see is new IPs. On the Switch, we had 2 or 3, right? We had Astral Chain, we had ARMS, I know I'm forgetting some other ones. On the Switch 2, we got Wheelchair Basketball and the Welcome Tour. I guess Dustblood might be considered a new Nintendo IP, or maybe that will go multi-platform in the future, whatever. Instead of seeing new IPs though, I would much rather Nintendo revisit old franchises that we haven't seen in a while. F-Zero would be awesome, Star Fox, Kid Icarus, maybe do some cool stuff with Ice Climbers, maybe a new Punch-Out, maybe something with Waluigi. I would much rather them just revisit their amazing franchises they have already, because they don't need new IPs at this point. Like, it's nice. Maybe introduce somebody new to the Mario universe with some kind of new game eventually. But they just have so many amazing characters from so many great franchises that they could really just stick their hand in a bucket, pull something out, and create something amazing out of that, right? So I'd much rather them do something like that than worry about making some new IPs that don't hit, or maybe they're kind of cool but, you know, undersell or underdeliver. They don't need new IPs. And I know that sounds crazy, but I feel like Nintendo is just one of those companies that have this advantage and they should really use it. Yeah, I know this video was kind of all over the place, but it's actually kind of cool to do stuff like this because the potential and possibilities are truly endless, right? The Switch 2 has so much damn potential, and let's just say this generation goes 10 years, which I have no problem with. There's so many amazing things Nintendo could do, and I hope they realize that they have this opportunity and they just try some cool stuff, some different stuff, some weird and wacky stuff, but kind of reinventive stuff as well, because some of these franchises, even though I love them, kind of getting repetitive. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, in the comments below, let me know what you guys are thinking. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video, if you could do me a favor, hit a like and subscribe. Follow your boy on Instagram and Twitter so we can keep these communities growing. And you guys know me, I will see you very soon with a new video. Peace out.